We're here at CES to see how tech is changing the way we do our jobs. There's so much going on. First up, I got a chance to go through the Siemens booth with the CEO of Siemens USA, Barbara Humpton. We took a look at this really cool new plane that Siemens is working with JetZero on to create, and it's going to go online, manufacturing 10,000 jobs here in the United States later this year. Take a look. What I love talking to you about is just how innovation that's going on in this country and around the world is changing the way people do their jobs. So we start here, we're at JetZero, because my understanding is in a couple of months, you guys are going to announce the first manufacturing with JetZero. Tell me about this project.
Okay, so first of all, what we're featuring in our booth again this year is Siemens work through others. And JetZero is a fantastic example of a customer who's using our digital tools to support their manufacturing. But not just the digital side. This is where the digital and the real world come together. So JetZero chose Siemens, frankly, in their words, because it was the best to support their early startup, the engineering, the design, and then to transition into the manufacturing. What we'll be announcing in just a few months is a location for a new greenfield manufacturing site, where this team will take the digital twin of this fantastic aircraft and actually begin production. And that production is going to ramp up quickly because there's going to be huge demand for this. This is a plane that's built to a blended wing design.
I'm looking at it as we talk about it, yeah.
This blended wing design, think about the airplanes we all ride in today. It's a tube with wings attached and the engine's hanging off. There's a tail in the back to give stability, and all of that causes drag. Here with a blended wing, the air flows smoothly over the body. It has inherent stability. The amazing thing is you can reduce the emissions of the aircraft by 50%. That's before you even start to work with alternative fuels like hydrogen or other sustainable aviation fuels. So this is the future of aviation.
What's really cool about this is what I understand. What I understand is that this is going to be built in the United States.
Yes.
State to be announced soon.
Yes.
But it's going to create jobs. Are those jobs going to be different than the ones that we do now?
Yeah, Ramona, what we're expecting is that as more automation gets deployed into factories, we're going to give more people the opportunity to take those high-end jobs that used to require years of training, years of education. So imagine a factory where there is a job of programming the automation that's in there. Used to be you had to go study for that. Now, with the use of AI and co-pilots, we can interact in natural language describing what we want our automation to do and having the AI translate that into the code that runs the automation equipment.
And speaking of pilots in a different sense, you're probably going to have to train pilots differently around the country to be able to fly one of these planes.
Probably the biggest thing about JetZero is this is a data platform, right? This is an airplane, yes, but what's going on is everything has been connected. There are sensors throughout, and it's providing lots of data back, yes, to the pilot, but also providing the pilot with a lot of assistance. But meanwhile, it's also telling us, the people who are working on the technology that's continuing to manufacture these, how is it performing in operations? What needs to change? But Ramona, maybe the most exciting thing is the different business models you can get. Maybe airlines don't need to go buy their own aircraft. Maybe this is an opportunity for the manufacturer to own a fleet and to be able to provide transportation as a service.
And so you're working with JetZero to design that from start to finish on what your model for your manufacturing will be.
Yep.
And then do you build it yourselves, or are you partnering on it? How does that work?
We provide the technology that enables the design and the manufacturing and ultimately the operations. And it's really interesting because Tom O'Leary, the CEO of JetZero, was chatting with us the other night, and he said, people are coming to us all the time saying, what are you doing with AI? What are you doing with AI? And he said, we're not focused on that right now. We're focused on building the airplane, but we're partnered with Siemens because Siemens is figuring out how AI makes the design process more efficient and makes manufacturing actually more capable.
So we're going to look for the announcement coming in a few months.
Yeah.
They're going to start building. When do we expect to see this plane in the air?
2030 is when, by 2030, we're expecting to see these planes. You know what's going on though? Here's a big challenge. You know that aircraft, any of our flight, needs to be certified. And we've got regulatory agencies like the FAA. Here's the cool thing about this. JetZero is working very closely with the FAA, so they get access to all that data as the design work is going on, as manufacturing is going on. It can shorten the certification processes as well.